Hello students. So we have to start from here. I hope you are enjoying the story. This time I did not forget her. If you remember in the previous video, the writer himself said that the memory of the girl had means it fade out. But this time I did not forget her. She was with me for the remainder of the journey and for long after. All the year she was a bright living thing. And when the college term finished, I packed in haste and left for Tehran earlier than usual. My grandmother would be pleased at my eagerness to see her. I was nervous and anxious as the train drew into Deoli because I was wondering what I should say to the girl and what I should do. I was determined that I wouldn't stand helplessly before her, hardly able to speak or do anything about my feelings. Now, this is just one incident. Two meetings has changed something deep inside the writer. He has grown a specific feeling for the girl. He is not able to forget the girl for full 1 year. The whole year, the memory of this girl was bright. And when he was about to meet her again, he was nervous, he was anxious. He did not know what to speak about, what to do. The train came to Deoli and I looked up and down the platform, but I could not see the girl anywhere. I opened the door and stepped off the footboard. I was deeply disappointed and overcome by a sense of foreboding. Now, foreboding is a feeling of something bad to happen. That is why the writer was anxious, as he felt something has happened to the girl. That is why he is not able to find her on the station. I felt I had to do something, and so I ran up to the station master and said, "Do you know the girl who used to sell baskets here?" "No, I don't," said the station master. "And you would better get into the train if you don't want to be left behind." But I paced up and down the platform and stared over the railings at the station yard. All I saw was a mango tree and a dusty road leading into the jungle. Where did the road go? The train was moving out of the station, and I had to run up the platform and jump for the door of my compartment. Then, as the train gathered speed and rushed through the forests, I sat brooding in front of the window. What could I do about finding a girl I had only seen twice, who had hardly spoken to me, and about whom I knew nothing, absolutely nothing, but for whom I felt a tenderness and responsibility that I had never felt before? Now, this is important that the writer has developed a specific feeling, a sense of responsibility, tenderness, which he has till date never sensed before. My grandmother was not pleased with me this time because I didn't stay at her for more than a couple of weeks. I felt restless and ill at ease. So I took the train back to the plains, meaning to ask further questions to the station master at Deoli. But at Deoli, there was a new station master. The previous man had been transferred to another post within the past week. The new man didn't know anything about the girl who sold baskets. I found the owner of the tea stall, a small, shriveled up man wearing greasy clothes, and asked if he knew anything about the girl with the baskets. Shriveled up man means wrinkled, old. Yes, there was such a girl here. I remember quite well, he said. But she has stopped coming now. Why? I asked. What happened to her? How should I know? Said the man. She was nothing to me. And once again, I had to run for the train. As Deoli platform receded, I decided that one day I would have to break the journey over here, spend a day in the town, make inquiries, and find the girl who had stolen my heart with nothing but a look from her dark, impatient eyes. So the writer makes a decision that he will have to break his journey. If he continues like this, in just 10 minutes he would never be able to get answers to his questions. So with this thought, I consoled myself. Throughout my last term in the college, I went to Dehra again in the summer, and when, in the early hours of morning, the night train drew at Deoli station, I looked up and down the platform for signs of the girl, knowing I wouldn't find her, but hoping just the same. The writer knows that he would not be able to find the girl, but there is still hope alive for him. He has not given up the hope. Somehow, I couldn't bring myself to break journey at Devli and spend a day there. Now, this is important. He's saying, if it was all fiction or a film, I reflected, I would have caught and cleaned up the mystery and reached a suitable ending for the whole thing. I think I was afraid to do this. I was afraid of discovering what really happened to the girl. The writer is saying that yes, I made a decision that one day I'll break my journey just to check what has happened to the girl. The girl who has become so important for me. But he did not do so. He was afraid of discovering the actual scene. Now the writer, Ruskin Bond, is saying that if it was purely fictional, fictional is where you can mold the events. I would have definitely given it another ending, more suitable. But this is not fiction. Perhaps she was no longer in Devli. Perhaps she was married. Perhaps she had fallen ill. So these are the questions which were going on in his mind. In the last few years, I had passed through Devli many times, and I always look out of my carriage window, half expecting to see the same unchanged face smiling up at me. I wonder what happens in Devli, behind the station walls. But I will never break my journey there. It may spoil my game. I prefer to keep hoping and dreaming and looking out of the window up and down that lonely platform, waiting for the girl with the baskets. I never break my journey at Devli, but I pass through as often as I can. Now, this is a memory of Ruskin Bond. He says that I do not want to spoil my game. I still have hope that one day I will be able to find the girl who became all of a sudden so important to me. I would not break my journey,